news update. Subscribe to SEN League on YouTube and the SEN podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Ryan Papenhuyzen, this is according to Danny Wildler and Mickey Chamis from the Sydney Morning Herald. Papenhuyzen is set to extend his time at the Storm by at least another season despite entering the free agency market early this month for the first time in his career. The Storm fullback has been in discussions with the Bulldogs in recent days about a potential move to Sydney, who he actually supported as a kid. I didn't know that. He was originally offered a 3-year contract at a reduced rate of around $750 to $800 a season, but he favoured a short-term deal to keep him at the Storm until the end of 2026, making him a free agent on November 1 next year. So we'll go through this all again with Papenhuyzen next year. But for a guy who's had some injury concerns, Brian, I actually like how he's backing himself, Pap.
Yeah, so do I, and I think he could have got more money. It's pretty well documented. He could have got $1 million, but he's showing a little bit of faith to Melbourne as well.
That's right.
And I feel that the rights are up in the end of 2027.
Oh.
So it's a smart deal. I feel like he's waiting for that because we don't know what the broadcast rights will be. You would imagine they'd increase again after what's been
good call
happening the last couple of years. But it was. I reckon Billy Slater's got something to do with it.
Yeah, why do you say that?
Because when he did his knee and his ankle, he went and stayed out in the farm with Billy.
Did he?
Yeah, went out and they became quite close. And he's come out in the media saying, yeah, he really really looked after me because he's a Sydney boy.
Yeah.
So good on him. I think he's done the right thing here.
Yeah, I listened to the Joseph Swally podcast with Mark Burris, and they were talking about Nick Politis, and he's a real family man, and he really brings them in. And Melbourne Storm have got a similar thing, I reckon, with Bellamy, with Matt Tripp. I don't think they get maybe the kudos that they deserve when it comes to that type of thing.
Yeah, well, they're sort of out of the way down there, so they've only got each other to rely on.
Yeah.
Because there's only a couple. Well, there's only one I can think of who is a Victorian.
Yep.
That's Sewer, Farlongo.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
A lot of them are from interstate.
Yep.
So I reckon that's helped galvanise that team over the years, and the fact they're away from all the media.
You know who the very first Melbourne-born player was to play for the Melbourne Storm?
Young Tonomapia.
Mahe Whenua.
Oh, Mahe Whenua.
And they had a great nickname for him, Mahe to Melbourne. Made in Melbourne. I thought it was very clever. Players off contract at the Storm for 2026. Now, Paul Bunn and co have got a big job in front of them. Sean Blore, Xavier Coates, Harry Grant, Jerome Hughes, Nick Meaney, Will Warbrick, Trent Liero, Christian Welsh, Tyron Wishart, Tui Kamakamitha, and now, of course, Papenhuyzen. So these guys are off contract at the end of 2026. Craig Bellamy signed a 5-year deal in 2022 that allows him to decide if he wants to keep coaching or not, really. Early this year, Sua Falongo extended his stay. So I wonder what he thinks about this now, Sua, with Papenhuyzen there to be for at least the next 2 years. What's the plans for Sua Falongo? Because you've got to think that within 2 years, he's a regular first grader, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's not going to break into that side while Pappy's there. Could he be a 14?
Yeah, okay, there's a clause. Hang on.
Who's
Protest. Matt Tripp, the Storm chairman, has a verbal undertaking with Sua Falongo's manager Liam Ayub that if Ryan Papenhuyzen wants to extend his time, they will sit back down and look at his contract. So that would be triggered now. That'd be triggered now. Okay, that's good from Liam Ayub, who manages Sua Falongo, and that's fair from the Melbourne Storm, I think.
Yeah, next year's a big year for them, isn't it? So all those players, gun players, are off contract.
Yeah. They've got the best part of 12 months to shore them up.
Yes, they do.
Which
but they're all going to come at the same time. So I'm just thinking, who is a priority here? It would be.
I think by then, Christian Welsh, Tui Kamakamitha might be under siege a little bit.
Okay, so Harry and Jerome.
Yep.
Would be.
Harry's priority number one.
Yeah, and then you'd probably go Will Warbrick.
Maybe. Yeah.
We'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see how that plays out. Magic Rounds has been announced at the Friday games. And by the draw comes out tomorrow, doesn't it? 11 o'clock tomorrow. The Boffins over there in Canada have finally worked it all out. Friday games kick off this way. Sharks take on the Eels. So the Eels lost to the Melbourne Storm and the Sharks beat the Roosters last year in Magic Round. 8 p.m. sees the Roosters and the Dolphins. The Dolphins undefeated at Magic Round, Brian. 2 from 2. 2 from 2 for the Dolphins.
Yep.
The Roosters have scored at least 30 points in 4 of their last 5 Magic Round appearances, so they like playing that as well. Saturday games, Bunnies and the Knights. That was the game where David Armstrong went berserk, remember?
Yeah.
He scored a hat-trick against the Titans, and now he's off to the Super League. Warriors and the Cowboys. So Warriors, in fact, beat the Panthers last time. It was a Tane Tulpiki try, and the Warriors are giving up their home game after selling out all home games for 2024. So there's a big move. They're taking on the Cowboys, the Warriors and the Cowboys. West Tigers and the Dragons wrap up Magic Round for Saturday night. Then we kick off with the Titans and the Bulldogs, and then they close. I kind of like what they've done here. It's not the last game of the round, but they've got the Panthers taking on the Broncos in that 4 o'clock daytime slot.
Yeah, so they get everyone there before and get them there afterwards.
Get them to stick around.
That's the that you would think that's the game of the round.
That's it. And maybe they were sort of petering out a little bit. And you know what's good about that too? A lot of people will be making their way back home and on the Sunday afternoon. So by having the Broncos there, you've got the local crowd, haven't you?
Keep them around.
You keep them around. So I think it's good what they've come up with there. Manly Warringah Seagulls are the team who miss out. Scotty Bailey from AAP reporting that Manly actually requested the Magic Round bye after years of giving up a home game against the Broncos.
Yeah, well, because they, as we know, they're selling out Four Pines Park now, so
Yeah.
they weren't getting the gate up there.
But it's a big, when you think about it, so if you're giving your home game to the Broncos, every single year, all things being even, you're getting 11 home games to their 13.
Yeah,
It's a big advantage you're giving them,
correct.
particularly when they're the type of team you're fighting for a spot for.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, someone's got to miss out every year.
Yep. So well done. There you go, Manly. What do Manly fans think, though? Are you going to be devastated about missing Magic Round? All 8 home clubs opt into and are paid in return to go to Brisbane for Magic Round. So that's how that plays out. Michael Chamas, Sydney Morning Herald. Next month, 3 players. West Tigers players have been dealt breach notices for lack of fitness. They've been named. Next month, 3 players. Latu Fainu.
Oh, yeah?
Latu Fainu, Solomona Fatape, and Solomona Sakuru will front the West Tigers board after being hit with breach notice relating to their performance to start the pre-season. So,
why tell us? Why are the West Tigers leaking this out? Just keep, is it like are they bruising?
Well, the thing for me is, is this actually something you need to front the board over? Isn't it just the coach gets you in and you just get flogged at pre-season?
And you're in Fat Club.
Yeah.
You're going to be there for the next
Do you actually have to go and front the board?
I've never seen it. I know they're trying to, raise standards, but do it in-house.
Yeah.
Don't leak it.
That's right.
Make the 3 of them do sandhills on a Monday, on a Saturday morning.
Yep.
All the players get around.
Yep.
Give them a bit of a rev up.
Yep.
Cheer them on. That's what brings you all together.
I concur.
Not leaking this out and saying these 3 blokes have got to front the board.
Yep. So the breaches relate to 2 sets of criteria which the trio failed to meet. The first, an expectation around weight and skin folds.
Gosh. Is this fat shaming?
A little bit.
Is this fat shaming?
And the second related to their fitness levels and an inability to get close to the time assigned to them for the 1.6 kilometre. That's the new go, isn't it, when you come back, the 1.6 kilometre time trial?
Yeah, but why? Anyway, I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated for the players at the West Tigers because now you can't trust anyone there.
No.
There's no need to name these 3
No,
players.
that's right. That's
You keep it in-house.
Mate, you know what? They're not the only club who have got players come back undone.
No.
But people are just getting on with it, aren't they?
Yeah.
I agree with that. The club, and I say we've got to get better. We've just got to zip it up. All ships do rise with the tide, but loose lips sink ships, Brian, don't they?
That's a good one. I like that. It's very Nautic of you. Throw that one in the that's next week, Nautic theme. That's a wacky team Wednesday.
I don't mind that. Shamus also reporting that Sione Fainu is also absent from training with no contract for 2025. Okay. He was expected to join the top 30 roster. However, Jaden Sullivan, John Bateman and Brent Naden either unwilling or unable to find new homes. So that's fascinating how that plays out. However, in training, the house down news. Let's do this.
Tourist. Just put shaven hole on. You can make it up with shaven hole.
Has fallen in a shaven hole.
See, I know that you know that where that hotkey is. You are a proper dirtbag. Why have you been hanging back here? Yeah, that's the other thing. You've been hanging back here till 9 p.m, my spies tell me. The cleaner mint She spoke to me in her broken English. I'm the only one who can understand because she speaks Thai. Salty Cup, Mint. She'll be here at 5.
Down. Here we go, tourists.
Alrighty.
What was that song that you said? Oh, Sally go up, Sally go down.
Yeah.
Sally go up.
Okay, in Training the House Down news.
Who's training it down?
The actions of West Tigers prompted new recruit Royce Hunt to volunteer 3 weeks early to train to improve his condition.
Oh.
Let's leak that out.
Yeah, let's leak that. So the 5 players who are training the house up.
Actually, you can't do this. This is not Training the House Down. You can't nominate yourself. That's another rule.
No.
You cannot nominate yourself.
No, you can't. But those who were training the house up have forced Royce Hunt to train the house down. That's how that's played out. Hyundai's Black Friday demo event is on here. You know what? I think the players need a rest. I don't think it's still November. The grand final's in October, folks. Why are we losing our stuff over people not being ready for an October grand final when it's November?
It's West Tigers.
I don't understand. The grand final, it's like training for the Melbourne Cup now for next year. It's a long way away. I think we get back too early.
Well, that's where the sports scientists need to come in.
But people came back at me and they said, oh, well, if you let them come back when the premiership winning teams come back, they've had far bigger gap. Yes, they have. Maybe get them on the phones for marketing, do work. I get all that. But if you bring them back earlier, come August, September next year, the better teams have had a bigger rest and they should be fresher, shouldn't they? They should be.
Yeah, they should be. You'd think. And those teams are providing a lot of the rep players as well because of the success they've had at club level. So
that's my point.
I think is it a cause of like what's going on over the fence? Like the teams are sort of concerned not to start later because then if other teams are coming back earlier and they don't have the success, then they're pointing the fingers at, oh, you came back later than everyone else, and that's a reason why there is no success happening at that club. Yeah. You know what I mean? Is there a bit of concern that they've got to keep up with the Joneses sort of thing and make sure that everyone's training at the same time?
You know what I'd honestly do? I'd just keep them training through to grand final day, just to get them on the same path. So, boys, we need to get used to training and playing in September. We need to get used to so yes, you might miss the finals, but I'd just say, boys, for those who haven't signed to go elsewhere, I'd just keep them in for a month and then give them the same break that the premiers get and get them back on the same page. I don't know. I just don't get my head around how we had this year players coming back to train before the season with the Pacific Championships had even finished. Season 2024 hadn't even finished, and we had people back starting season 2025.
You're up and about today.
Yeah, this is good.
But doesn't that make sense?
I mean, the years of, nowadays, the sports scientists that are controlling these fitness, they've all got different ideas. Some guys say, right, because you can see, and I never really realised this, but I remember talking to a guy at the Roosters once, and I was saying, geez, they look heavy. The boys look like they're heavy-legged. Yep. They said, oh, yeah, we've flogged them.
Front-loading them or something.
We've flogged them, but towards the end of the year, we're going to pull back their training. So that was their mentality. I think that was the year they won the comp in 18-19. Is that when, and remember Jake Friend was struggling a little bit?
That's right,
and all the fans are going, "I got to sack him."
Mate, I was at the football stadium, which it was then known, and his own fans were booing him.
Yeah, I
actually spoke to Trent Robinson that week. I said, "Mate, what are you going to do with Jake?" He said, "Mate, trust me, he's going to be fine." And that grand final, he was in the top 3 players.
Yeah, it was because he was doing so much work.
Yeah,
like they were just running him ragged. Yeah, and he had to make his 50 tackles. And so all the fans, so you don't see this.
That's right.
So all the fans are sitting there, but there is method to their madness.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. What do you think, folks? 1300 01 1170 to have your say. Call of the day prize, of course, still up for grabs. You got the Ponting $50 voucher. You got the Metro card. Mr. Whippy, say yippee. That's all there waiting for you for the caller of the week. 1300 01 1170 or text 0457 736 736, Brian.
Okay, so this came through. I don't know whether this is fair income or it has been. So this is from 626. So we take these text messages very seriously. He said, Ezra gets 12 weeks off with full pay. What penalty is that? That's from Steve, sorry. That's from Steve.
Okay.
Is he talking about 12 weeks off coming into this, or is this the penalty that we've seen? Has there been a penalty handed down?
No penalty handed down officially.
We're stuck in this little
But
box.
is he talking about in terms of the training? conversation that he gets 12 weeks paid.
Right.
He's having that time off, but he's still training during that time, right?
Oh, you think so?
Oh, 100% he would be.
Because the players, if you've played a certain amount of years now, you get, if it's 10 years, you get 10 weeks off or around about that.
That's right.
That's why everyone comes back staggered.
Hey, which, as I said, Brian, it's like, say, Isaiah Yeo, who finished playing last week, essentially.
Yeah.
If he's got 10 weeks off,
Yep.
that brings him back when? So say he finishes roughly mid-November.
Yep.
So that gets you to sort of, well, you're well and truly into January, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they start playing trials in Feb.
But there's Isaiah Yeo compared to other players, he's the professional, so he won't.
No, he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
But still, like he would officially come back with maybe 6 weeks until he plays a game, maybe less.
Well, he'll be fine.
Yeah, that's right. He'll be fine. He will be fine.